Yo, we're back, people. I know this is coming out a little bit later than usual, but I was hanging out with my friend earlier. Haven't hung out with him in a while, so that's the reason why it's coming out a little bit later. So we're just gonna hop right into it. Not gonna waste no time. Um, yeah. So first off, we got the Spurs and the Thunder. The first kind of thing that I want to touch on was the fact that the Thunder were extremely undermanned. I mean, they only had like 8 people active on the roster, and the fact that they were still competing, still fighting, and actually had a chance to win this at some points. Like they got it down to like close to 4, and I'm like, oh my goodness, they might actually win. That just tells you not it's not about who's on the team, but the kind of culture that they had. It's the fact that they were so undermanned, and yet they were still able. You know what I mean? Like that's just crazy to me. Like even while so undermanned, they were still able to fight, still able to get the game close, and still able, to give the Spurs a run for their money. Now the Spurs, they did great. They got out to an early lead. They led the entire game. Like the Thunder didn't have a lead for not even 1 second. From the tip, it was all Spurs. Now I didn't even get to watch all of the game because the second game that I'm gonna talk about went into double OT. We'll talk about that later. But I was very impressed by the Thunder, very impressed by how they fought and everything like that. So congrats on them. And when everyone returns, it was just as dangerous. So we have Nuggets and Knicks. This game went into double OT. I will say though that the reason why it went into double OT in the first place is kind of iffy. I agree with the call? No, I don't agree with the call at all. I think it was a terrible call. I don't think it should have been called. I don't think that was a foul at all. Was it called a foul? Yes, but I don't think that was. It was. It should have been called. But this was a great game the whole way. I was thoroughly enjoyed. No real team had a real advantage. Like yes, there were like sometimes the Nuggets would go up by a certain amount of points. The Nuggets would go like the Knicks. Um, had an 88-82 lead going into the fourth. Jalen Brunson really came up huge for the Knicks in that third quarter. He really turned on in that third quarter. And obviously when Cat went out with his 6 fouls, it was Jalen Brunson, who was their guy. He came up clutch for them. Um, yeah, it was an amazing game though. Jokic almost had it. He was like 1 for 13 from the three, and one of his misses was almost a game winner. Like he said, Larry Bird. Oh my god, it's gonna sound crazy. It's gonna sound bad. But he literally Larry Birded it, right? It clinked, it went off the backboard. I think he intentionally did it off the backboard, but it went off the backboard, hit the front of the rim, bounced up, hit the backboard again, and then hit the front of the rim, and then went out. It was crazy, man. And then Jamal Murray got bailed out. I would say that's the reason why I feel like it was a bad call, because Jamal Murray, not Jalen. Oh my goodness, I'm calling Jalen Brunson, Jalen Brown, Jamal Murray, Jamal Murray got bailed out on that three that he airballed. You know, but that was a great game though. Wonderful, wonderful game. Now we got Blazers and Suns. Blazers absolutely sold the lead. I mean, they were on fire that first half, man. I mean, the first quarter they hit eight threes in the first quarter. I mean, everything was going right for them. They had a 19-point lead. the league is as big as 19 at one point in the second quarter. But the Suns, they kept fighting. Colin Gillespie, that man is a dog. Colin Gillespie is a dog. Grayson Allen is a dog. I mean, we knew this from his time in Duke that he was a dog. But I mean, dang, he was a dog, bro. I mean, like, dude. And then in the third quarter, the Suns took their first lead since 4-3, bro. I mean, and then, like, once that third quarter hit, it was all over. Cause like the Trailblazers, the Blazers just couldn't get nothing going in the second half. Like nothing was working. Like they couldn't they weren't hitting their shots. Like it was just like all the momentum that they had built up in that first half. Yeah, no, it was like, oh yeah, we're just gonna yoink that. The Suns said, give me that. Like it literally looked like the Monstars out there, bro. Like the Monstars had you joint their powers or something. Like it was crazy, bro. Man, but no, that was a great game, bro. Honestly, thoroughly enjoyed. We got Mavs and Celtics. Okay. Let me concentrate. I've had a long day. But man, Mavs for like that first half. That first half, they kept it close. I mean, the Mavs when they're fully healthy. Now, obviously, this is maybe before Anthony Davis got traded away. I'm not gonna talk about the trades because that was some of the crazy stuff ever. Like the Mavs trading away Anthony Davis to the Wizards, bro, and then Kuminga going to the Hawks for Buddy Hield and Kuminga going to the Hawks was crazy. All this stuff, and then Giannis didn't even get moved at the trade deadline. Like all this commotion about Giannis just from to not get moved at the trade deadline is crazy to me. But y'all did all that for Giannis, and he ain't even get moved, man. Tears, man. But I'm not even gonna worry about trades though. You don't I have a lot to say, but I don't even want to talk about it because that's just kind of crazy to me. But the Mavs though for the first half, they kept it close, but in the third quarter, specifically late in the third quarter, like the Celtics they turned it on. They went up by 19 and they never looked back from there. Like I said though, this is obviously this game was before the Anthony Davis trade, so hindsight's 2020. But when that team is healthy, if Anthony Davis is still on that team, whenever that team gets healthy, bro, they would be dangerous. Especially when Kyrie comes back, man. Whew. Clippers and 76ers. Blowout. Grizz and Timberwolves. This was a pretty good game. I really like this. I don't think they had. Did they have Anthony Davis for this game? Let me see this. Because I don't remember. Was Anthony Edwards on that team? Was on the. Yeah, we know. Yeah, Shams. We know the Warriors consider Giannis is over after the Porzingis acquisition. We know this, Shams. Like, come on now, Shams. Yeah. Anyways, I'm not even gonna waste my time, bro. I'm not even gonna waste my time with that bull. Yeah, Shams. Great job, Shams. The dude's like, oh yeah, he's tweeting about He's tweeting about Giannis like Giannis is ex or something. Like, babe, please take me back, babe, please take me back. He tweeting about Giannis like Giannis is his ex, bro. Grown man tweeting out Giannis this, Giannis that, like it's his ex, bro. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. Anyways. Okay. Grizz and Timberwolves. Let's get back. Grizz and Timberwolves. This is a. This was a pretty close game for the most part. Grizz did take a couple of double-digit leads, but then Grizz were able to take a couple of double-digit leads. But whenever they would, it's like the Timberwolves would always find a way to bring it back to within single digits, and then the Grizz would find a way to bring it back to double digits. Like, oh hey, we're gonna go take a double-digit lead, and the Timberwolves like, no, I don't think so. That doesn't work for me, brother. Oh my god, I feel so bad for doing that. Oh my goodness, I feel so bad for doing that. Your whole game impression. That doesn't work for me, brother. Brother. Okay. But yeah, they got Thunder and Nuggets. My main takeaway from this game is Cason Wallace. I mean, my goodness, man. When everyone else was kind of lacking, because everyone else was kind of lacking, I will not lie. Other people were lacking in the game. It was Cason Wallace that stood up, that really stepped up and helped, lead the Thunder to victory. I don't know why I said 20. Let's see 10. Like, if this wasn't this may seem like, oh well, obviously, but Cason Wallace was like a really big part of this win. Like, he really stepped up. He like 20 plus points. I was really impressed with him. He was good on the defensive end and good on the offensive end, and he was that much needed spark plug for that Thunder team. But this was a great game. Thunder picked up the win. Yeah. Then we got Lakers and Knicks. I'll say this about the Lakers. This is one of those games where they actually seem like they wanted to win, where they actually showed up to win. I'll say that. This is one of the games where they actually showed up to win, because I feel like in some of these games they don't show up, and that's when it leads to where they don't actually like play their best. It's because they don't show up. Like, it's just like some games they show up and they want to fight, and then other times they don't show up and fight. And it's like, yes, the Lakers still ended up losing the game, but they actually fought the whole way through it. They didn't just give up and then, oh, we're gonna try to make a miraculous comeback. You know what I mean? Like, and also I think that that was one of my main takeaways for the Lakers, is that they actually showed up to win. They actually showed up to try to win, and even though they didn't win, they still did a really good job. And for the Knicks, Brunson didn't have the best shooting game, but like, despite him not having the best shooting game, he still had his way with the let me see. Versus the Lakers, he was 4 of 15, but he had 12 points. He had 13 assists and 7 rebounds. So even though he wasn't necessarily lighting up the scoreboard with points, he would still find a way to get his team involved. Still find a way to positively impact the team and not bring them down. You know what I mean? And I think that's what a leader does, and that's what a star player does, is that even when they're not having their best game, they still find a way to positively impact the game, whether it be on the defensive end or just on the offensive end, whether it be with assists, like we've seen with Jalen Brunson, where he had 13 assists, or with rebounds. So yeah. I think that was like the most impressive part of the game for me, is how he was able to impact the game while not being the biggest impact, you know. So I think that was pretty impressive to me. Mavs and Rockets. This was a for the like I don't know, like the Mavs. The Mavs and clutch games go hand in hand, bro. It's like Mavs and close games are like white on rice, bro. They just go together. What? Like, yo, I don't even know what that. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. I don't even know what that's supposed to mean. Like, I don't know. Like, why would I say, oh, it's like white on rice. They go together like white on rice. I don't know why to do that. Of course they go together because you can't. But anyways, the Mavs, the Mavs and close games are like a match made in heaven, pretty much. Like, you can't have one without the other. And that's what it was. Like, the Mavs just find a way to always have close games. They've had the most clutch games, but at the same time, though, they also have the most clutch losses. And I feel like that's what happens in the NFL. We've seen this a lot in the NFL where a team have a lot of close games and they lose a lot of close games. And then the next year, they'll have a lot of close games, but they'll win those close games. And I feel like that's what's going to happen with the Mavs next year. I think after having this year under their belt, they're going to come out next year. They're going to have a lot of close games like they have had this year. But instead of those games being losses, it's going to be wins. And obviously, the Mavs, by record, they may not look like a good team. But when you see them on the floor, when you see how they play, the heart that they play with, the passion, the hunger that they play with, you see that this team has all the tools to be a good team. And the fact that they're constantly battling against these higher teams, like the Celtics, like they battled with the Celtics for the first half between, and then they battled with the Rockets for the whole game. They were they were never out of it. Yes, they did go down by double digits a couple times in the game, but they were never out of it. And I think that's the biggest part of this team is that you can say about this team is that they are resilient. Okay, they may look out, but they're not out. The fact that they're constantly battling with these high level things that theoretically, if you look on paper and you look at just the records, they should be blowing them out. But when you look but the records and the stuff on paper only tell you so much. It's about what happens on the floor that tells you everything that you need to know. And that's what really is the most fun thing about the Mavs is that they're a great team. They're gonna be a great team. They just need more time. So I was very impressed by the Mavs for fighting. Rockets, like I said, you would think that this would be a blowout just because, look at the records. Look at who the Rockets have on their team compared to the Mavs on their team. But like I said, when it comes to fighting on the floor, you never know what's going to happen in any given day, And the Mavs definitely showed that. Rockets, they held on to win. They played a great game in and of themselves. So you can never overlook a team just because of how bad their record is. Moving on. Thunder and Wolves. The Wolves really just had the lead for the majority of the game. Really, like it was a one-score game until the Wolves went on an 8-0 run late in the first, and then literally from then on, it never really got any better for the Thunder. There's not much I can really say. The Wolves really dominated this game. They had a double-digit lead for the majority of the game. So I know this is gonna be I know this is gonna be on the shorter side, but I do have something I want to add on. In terms of football, I haven't talked about football in a minute because the whole week break and everything. But I will talk about that in a bit. Um, yeah. Moving on though, we have Wizards and Bucks. Um, I really thought that this was gonna be like after the second quarter, like when that first half ended, I really thought this was gonna be over because like the Bucks who because the Bucks are without Giannis. They were gonna be without Giannis for a few weeks. It was looking bad. I mean, the Wizards, they were up by 14, 57-43 after half, and I'm like, okay, this isn't looking good for the Bucks. But like I said, looking at what you see, like you can see that yes, this team doesn't have Giannis, but they're still fighting. They're still trying their hardest to get offense going. They're trying to find something, and they fought. Like they fought their hearts out. I mean, like you look at it, and they were down by 10 for most of the third. They were able to cut it down to 10. Then they were able to get it down to single digits, and then they were able to get it down to 5, and even as close as 3 points in the fourth. Now it's kind of easy to say, oh well, if they had Giannis, they would have won. Yeah, yeah, of course. If they had Giannis, they would have won because it's Giannis Antetokounmpo, and that's how dangerous that man is. I just think that it's kind of easy to say that. You know, um, Speaking of Giannis, I do think that he will always stay a Milwaukee Buck. I don't think I don't think he's going anywhere. You know, um, I think that's what he's gonna be for the rest of his career. I mean, he brought that team a ring. He's been through all the ups and downs. I mean, he's probably bought a house in Milwaukee. He's probably done all these different things in Milwaukee, and I just don't see Giannis as the kind of guy to just like up and leave. You know, like he doesn't strike me as the kind of person to just do that. Like, Giannis doesn't seem like the type of person to just like, oh well, I'm gonna disregard all my loyalty and I'm just gonna up and leave. So, um, yeah, he doesn't seem like the kind of guy. Back to the game though, this is one of my first impressions, like not one of my first impressions, one of like the first, this is like my few impressions of the Wizards. And every time I see them, I think they do a really good job. And I'm always impressed by some of the stuff that they like, some of the talent that they have. And I think in a few years, give these guys a few years time, and I think they're gonna be, I think they're gonna be a good team. It's just like, can they develop like they need to, So yeah, but good game though. Bucks fought, but the Wizards hold on to win. Now for about football, right? I know I haven't talked about football in a minute, but what did I tell you about the Denver Broncos? I knew they weren't a Super Bowl caliber team. I knew this. I called this even before Drake May not Drake May, but Bo Nix got injured. I knew they weren't a Super Bowl. I knew they weren't a Super Bowl team. I knew it. I knew that offense is just too. No matter who was under center, that offense is just too inconsistent. And I get it. It's in a blizzard, but that was for the second half. They were in a blizzard for the second half, and I knew they weren't gonna make it. I knew they weren't gonna make it. I knew they weren't gonna make it. I knew it because I knew the Patriots were the better team. I knew the Patriots were the better team. No matter who was under center, they weren't gonna win no matter what. All right, I'm gonna say it. You may call me a hater. You may call me a Denver Broncos hater. So be it. I never saw the Denver Broncos winning the game. I never did. I never saw them making it to the Super Bowl because I always knew that they weren't gonna make it. They were in that offense is just too inconsistent. No matter who is under center. Now, it's over. I'm gonna catch y'all next week. We're gonna be talking about the Super Bowl. We're gonna be talking about more playoffs. We're gonna be talking about more basketball. So, until then, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when I post, and I'll see y'all. Peace.